We are back, Joe. Rick needs some tips for developing speed on the kit. Stick around. We'll get to that. Jay Byer, do I have a favorite warm-up exercise? Pretty much what I'm doing right here, right now. I grab the sticks, sit on my pad, and sometimes I'll do singles, doubles, whatever. Sometimes I'll just try to make music on the pad, just like this. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I love my little studio here. First of all, thanks to everyone for sticking around and coming back. Technology friggin' sucks sometimes. We were right in the middle of something and ran into a technical issue and had to shut things down. Actually, things shut things down on their own without me knowing, but it's just like bad barbecue. You know what I mean? You're smoking a piece of meat, you run into an issue, assess the problem, correct it, and keep it moving. Super chat is still open, by the way, if you want to leave a tip. It's highly appreciated. Let's just get back to where we were before things went south. I'm going to extend things till 5 o'clock. Don't worry, because we're supposed to hang for an hour. So we're going to make up for the time. I'm going to start over from now, and we're going to be here till 5. So if you're still around, and if you still got snacks, and your sticks and your pad, might as well get in an hour of practice time. For the person that asked the question that I was in the middle of answering before things got cut off there, if you're still here and I answered your question, cool. If I didn't, remind me. Just want to make sure I get that down. Mr. Isaacson, what's up, man? Greetings from Sweden. Victor Nanos. Rob loves Serbia. Thanks for watching, man. Is my intro song up on iTunes? No, because it's only like 20 seconds long. Blunt force paradiddle, man, that's that's a big old compliment. I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. That's good company right there. Thanks a lot. Dave Weckl is a massive, massive influence, by the way. Shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, he's influenced a million drummers, but back when I started playing, I spent a lot of money on instructional videos. The best instructional video that I've ever used, ever, was The Next Step by Dave Weckl. Can't remember what year that came out. Might be 88, 89, something like that. But man, that is absolutely the best instructional DVD I ever had in my entire life. And I got the opportunity to tell him that to his face, to make sure he knew that. Aaron Groh, G-R-O-H, did I say that right? Aaron wants to know, what exactly is an inverted paradiddle? Well, basically, it's, in layman's terms, you're just taking the sticking and you're kind of flipping them around, really. So, single paradiddle, you know, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, like that, right? If you want to invert that, then you can take the double and move it somewhere else. So the most popular way to invert a paradiddle is to take the diddle part, or the double, and put it in the middle. So you go from that to this. Wait a minute. So you're taking the diddle and you're putting it in the middle, basically, is what that is. So yeah, that's all that is, man. When you invert a particular sticking or something, you're just taking the elements that are in that sticking and you're kind of moving them around and playing around with them. Put the diddle in the middle, basically. I was trying to avoid saying that, but that's basically what it is. Who else is here? Like I was saying before, man, if anyone was here before we got shut down for a second, we're going to make up for the time. We're going to be here till 5 o'clock, chilling. So, yeah. Stick around. Let me see if I can get my mojo back. Sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you find this nice groove, and a squirrel runs across the road and you have to hit the brakes. Sometimes that can mess you up. Because we were going at a good clip, but that's all right. We will come back. Mick Haggis, have I ever done pipe band drumming? No, but I admire anyone who has, because that pipe drumming stuff, tricky stuff, man. Tricky stuff. Those guys that play those snares, those guys and girls that play those snare drums, ridiculous hands. Duco Moonless, why does my snare drum ring when I hit my toms? Sometimes what can happen, it's a frequency thing. Sometimes when you hit a tom, the way your tom rings, there's a frequency that both your tom and your snare just kind of like, you know what I mean? And your tom will just trigger it. If you can try this little experiment. You might look a little weird doing it, so if you want to wait till you're alone, you can do so. But next time you're changing your heads, if you got both heads off, or actually, you know what, you can leave the bottom head on when you do this. But if you stick your head in your shell and you do sort of an EQ sweep, you know what I mean? Like if you hum from, you know, one note to the other, you can go, that kind of thing. When you hit the frequency of that tom, your shell will go nuts. You should try it. It's pretty wild stuff. So if you ever want to find out, or if you care, you know, what note or what tone to tune your tom at, that's one way to do it. Yeah. Make Orwell fiction again. Any exercises for strengthening your 16th notes on your hi-hat? Yes, I have a video on my channel that addresses just that very topic. So if you want to search my channel after you leave here, you can check that out. It's basically, I can't remember what it's called. Might be just called How to Play Fast 16ths or something like that on the hi-hat. But it's just a little technique thing. You know, you start out slow, learn the muscle movement, gradually work your speed back up, and you can get it. But it's basically, you know, if you can sort of imagine yourself sawing a piece of wood, it's that kind of motion. So it's almost like a push-pull type of thing. And that's really all that is. This is the motion for the most part. So you're pushing and then you're pulling up. So you're not necessarily feeling every single stroke when you do it. But once you get your speed up, you're really only feeling the downstrokes when you do that. And then when you pull your wrist up, that's taking care of the upstrokes. So it's an economical way of playing fast. That's all that is. But check that video out. That'll explain everything. George Torres thinks I'm the best. Thanks, man. Thanks for watching. Who else is here? Everybody's here. Serbia's here. Germany's here. Sweden's here. Very cool. Yeah, if you're bored, want to hang out for a bit, you got a practice pad and a pair of sticks nearby, go ahead and grab them. Man, my hands are feeling good today. Tony Fabiano, what size is that Ozone? That's an 18. That is an 18-inch Alpha Swiss from Paiste. Those are no longer available, that particular one, but they did sort of reintroduce that cymbal with a different alloy in the PSTX. So if you want to check that out, it's the 18-inch PSTX Swiss Crash. Check them out. There's a thin and there's a medium. Gabe Ruiz, do you think it makes a difference being a lefty or righty playing the drums? Should a southpaw have a reverse setup? I mean, that's up to you. I would say a good majority. I don't know how much confidence I can say that with. Let me just say there's a lot. There's a lot of left-handed drummers that just adapt to playing right-handed kits. And then they just play open-handed. So instead of playing this way, they play this way. And so at least upstairs, it feels kind of normal. So you just have to learn how to use your right foot instead of the left on the pedal. The beneficial thing for left-handed drummers to learn how to play right-handed kits is for situations where, you know, you're in a band, you're opening up for the main band, And that dude's kit is a right-handed kit. Because there's no way he's going to let you swap everything around. So it's a good idea. Take some time. You can play open-handed, like I said. You know, if that's how your hands work, that's cool. But it's probably a good idea to just, like when you buy a kit, set it up as a righty and just train your foot. Train your right foot to play that pedal. Because, I mean, you guys sort of get the short end of the stick being lefties because nobody... It's kind of, man, I'm trying to avoid using the word annoying, but I've never seen a drummer that was happy about showing up at a gig, opening up for a band. You know, they're using the other kit and it's set up lefty. There's nothing we can do. We're so used to playing right-handed. It's totally awkward. So anyways, I think for that reason, a lot of lefties just adapt to right-handed kits because the fact of the matter is the majority of drummers play right-handed kits. You know what I mean? Dave, what's up? Dave Foyer, thanks for the super chat and those little hippos. It is indeed a right-handed world. Like it or not. But I mean, you know, like I said, you're in some good company. There's plenty of left-handed drummers that are pretty, like legendary drummers. Left-handed that play right-handed kits. They just play open-handed. Drummer Travis just made a cover of Nightmare wearing one of my shirts or one of my hoodies. Thanks for that, man. Thanks for your support. If you want to grab a piece of merch to support the channel, there's a link in the description box. I got a whole bunch of stuff in there. I got the coolest drum merch in the game. I don't know if anybody told you that, but that's facts. Hit that link in the description. Head on over and find yourself something. Who else is up in here? Man, look at all these people. Domestic Miss. When you record a song, do you prefer to have the hats on the listener's left or right? Drummer's perspective or audience? I don't know. That's a pretty nerdy, debatable topic. For those that don't understand what the question means, it's basically like when we record here, you know, we're playing from behind the kit. That's our perspective, right? Hi-hats on the left, ride is on the right. So when you go to mix it, you got two options for the stereo spread. Do you want to mix it as if you're listening to it behind the kit, or do you want to mix it as if you're in front of the kit so that everything's sort of reversed? I don't know. I mean, what I tend to do, I guess, when I'm, at least when I'm mixing my own stuff, I sort of like to, I think I like to do it from the audience perspective. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of, especially if I'm watching a video and listening to it at the same time, because it's kind of, it's kind of a mind trip when you're watching them play one way, but you're hearing everything reversed. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I tend to sort of mix it as if I'm in front of the kit listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, John Blackwell. He was another lefty. R.I.P. John Blackwell. Ben Fox. How do you maintain fluidity when soloing so you don't stumble during a phrase? Is it just practice? The short answer, yes, it's just practice. But the long answer, and there's a very long answer, but that really, I think I just did a video recently on this topic because it's something that I used to wonder. When I was a new drummer, when I was watching all of my favorite drummers play, I always used to just think to myself, how, like what, they're soloing for 20 minutes. Like how are they doing this without even stumbling, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's a matter of, you know, as far as staying fluid throughout the whole thing, the best way to describe it, like I don't know how old you are now, but think about something that you're really good at. Think of one thing that you know a lot about, right? Get that in your head. Now, if I asked you to talk about that for 25 minutes, you probably could without a problem, right? Two reasons. Number one, you know a lot about that subject. Number two, your vocabulary is well developed. Same thing when you're soloing. When you have a large enough vocabulary, which is basically a whole bunch of musical ideas that you can draw from, if your warehouse is packed and full of musical ideas, you can say whatever you want, however you want, for as long as you want, and never stumble on your words. That's basically the essence of soloing. If you ask a new drummer to play a solo, that's usually what you get out of them, because it's all they can do. It's just 16ths and accents. That's the extent of their vocabulary. Whereas, you know, like if you wanted me to play a solo on this pad, pretty much kind of what I've been doing since we signed on here. One thing that I really love to do is to just try to make music on the pad. Because there's only one source that basically doesn't even make any noise, the music has to come from here, right? The same approach you need to take when you're sitting on the kit. Don't rely on these to make music for you. Music comes from here. This is just color, right? So if I want to launch into something, you know, like this, if this was on a snare drum, it would sound cool, very cool. But if I was playing on the kit and I had other sources that I could embellish all of that stuff with, it would sound like a proper solo. And, you know, if you're tuning into these live streams often enough, you can see that I'm spending most of the time on the pad. Got a lot of ideas, man. I've been playing almost 40 years. So You know, my vocabulary is fairly extensive at this point. So yeah, I could launch into a solo without having too much of a problem. And a lot of times when I come down here to practice, sometimes I just come down here to play. I just sit down on the kit, you know, maybe start with the snares off, and then just start playing some ideas, and then things start to take off from there. So yeah, once you understand that, man, you don't run into that problem anymore. But it's a legitimate question for new drummers. Like, how do you just make stuff up like that? But any one of those experienced drummers that you see playing extended solos, Thomas Lang, Virgil Donati, Dave, Finney, Steve Gadd, Steve Smith, any one of those people, just hand them a pair of sticks and say go. Then you can sit back and just watch them go. Same way as somebody walked up to you, say you knew a lot about fishing. If a new fisherman or fisherwoman, fisher person, whatever, came up and started asking you questions about catching bass, hand them a beer, say, have a seat, let's talk. It's easy as that. Not easy as that. I'm not going to say it that way. Not that it's easy, but the principle is simple. The larger your vocabulary, the more you can say, in a nutshell. Frank the Tank drums. I haven't heard the new Meshuggah, man. I haven't listened to him in a long time. I might have to check that out. Charlie Watts syndrome. What is that? Somebody explain. If somebody knows what Charlie Watts syndrome is, let me know. Never heard of it. Who else is up in here? Connor has a gearhead question. What are some things you like about Yamaha drums compared to other drum makers? It's a good question. It's funny because sometimes you hear a lot of people talk about the gear that they play, and the way they're talking about it, you know they're getting paid to say the stuff. It's quite obvious. Me, I've been playing Yamaha drums well over 20 years. And I can tell you straight up, one thing that I really like about playing, there's a lot of things, but one thing that I really like that's undeniable about Yamaha drums is that their hardware is friggin' awesome. These cats make motorcycle parts, right? So this stuff lasts you a lifetime. I can't even tell how long I've had some of these stands, but I've had them a really long time, and they just hold up. They will hold up to whatever you throw at it. But one of the things I love about the Yamaha drums is their tom mounts are designed for picky drummers. That whole ball clamp thing that they got going on is just brilliant. I'm not sure if they were the first ones to do it. I don't know. But their hardware, man, like the way they designed their tom mounts and the way you can integrate different pieces of hardware inside of that, very cool. You can be the pickiest drummer in the world. Yamaha's got your back. The other thing I love about Yamaha, especially with their higher end kits, is this claw hook design for lugs. Like when you're changing heads on these things, it's super quick because you don't have to take these all the way out. You just loosen them, and these suckers pop right off. So you just loosen it about halfway, and you can just pop them off, put your new head on, boom, good to go. They also have these. Their suspension mounts are the coolest that I've seen in a long time, especially here in the Phoenix kit. This is actually wood. These are plies of wood. And this has a lot to do with just, you know, controlling the, it just enhances the resonance, controls the vibration. There's very little contact between the plate and the shell. There's only 3 points, right? So when you hit one of these things, they're able to sing. It's gorgeous. And yeah, I don't know, they just make the coolest drums ever. They don't put making pretty drums on their priority list. Although these Phoenix kits are gorgeous, you know, their focus is just making the best sounding drums possible. And that's why the mid-level kits, like for instance, their Tour Custom and the Stage Custom Birch, there's nothing exciting about the colors that they come in. It's because they don't really care. You know what I mean? Because they know, like when you get a kit on the stage and the lights are on it, whatever color it is, nobody's gonna see that super fancy, crazy sunburst, whatever color you're gonna do. Or that crazy fancy bird's eye, whatever. Once you get that kit on the stage, you get lights on it, it's just gonna look like a set of drums. So they put all of their concern into putting, or into making the best sounding drums, and then they'll slap some decent generic colors on it and call it a day. Whereas other manufacturers, you know, they're trying to make furniture. And it's great that it's pretty, but it doesn't sound that much better than, you know, your average kit. So yeah, the short of it, the functionality and the flexibility that you get with Yamaha drums, not to mention the fact that they sound pretty incredible. Phoenix line, the live custom hybrid. If you ever played one of those hybrid oak kits, that bass drum will rip the doors off your house. So good. Jim Moten wants me to confirm that I have Paiste signature dark energy cymbals. Yes, I am a poster boy for the dark energy line. If you want to see a feature on these cymbals, if you go to Paiste's YouTube page, you can actually just type it in the search bar, Rob Brown, Paiste. I did a commercial for Paiste, sort of an infomercial, specifically on the dark energy cymbals. There's a lot of magic in those cymbals, man. I've never played any cymbal that fits so perfectly in so many different situations than the dark energy line. They found that recipe, man. It's magical. And these things, you can put them in a rock setting, go straight from there to a jazz setting. There's just enough shimmer, just enough trash, just enough everything that you need in one cymbal. And to prove it, you just check out some of the covers that I have on my channel. I got a couple of drum covers. I got a few of them, actually. But yeah, man, I did a Joni Mitchell tune, did a big country tune. My last cover was a Tesseract tune. So I went from a ballad straight to a friggin' gent metal tune. Same cymbals. And they don't sound out of place in either of them. So, dark energies, man, make no mistake. Them things are worth the dough. Klaus Isaacson, what about the 2002s? 2002s are probably their most famous series or line of cymbals, I think. I think it's one of the lines that have been around the longest. And man, if you really want a sample of how great the 2002s sound, just listen to any Van Halen record. Alex Van Halen, best recorded cymbal sound ever, as far as I'm concerned. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the 2002s. If they're not, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure they're 2002s. NYAJ Vlogs, thanks for the super kind words, man. Very encouraging. Bonham too, he's another one, 2002s. They just have a very sort of distinct, perfect sound, especially for rock. Man, very cool. Danny Carey. Is he a 2002 guy? I didn't know that. The Ride Bell and Jump. That's a drum fan right there. Like if you can pick out the Ride Bell and Jump, if that stands out to you, then you're a drummer. Ash Lord, yeah, I agree. Minor cymbals. I mean, if something happened to, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because I'm not gonna wish anything bad on Paiste. But if I was a different drummer and I wasn't into Paiste, I'd probably be playing Mino. That's the truth. Mino's probably the only other company that I would consider playing. But as long as Paiste's around, that's not going to happen. George Phillips, have I given up playing match grip? Absolutely not. There are still plenty of situations where match grip makes more sense than traditional. Like for instance, in that recent Tesseract cover that I did, that was full on matched. Each grip is a tool for me, man. I don't necessarily prefer one over the other. I love using them both. I'm primarily traditional now because I'm still trying to develop that. And all my heroes play traditional. So that's why I wanted to learn it. And I feel like a different drummer when I use it. But I'm not, choosing this because it's necessarily better than matched. Because in some situations, matched is just better than traditional. It just makes more sense. You can still get way more power with the matched grip. Why? It's because this has never been a power grip. Ever. It was never intended to be a power grip. Although you got some pretty ferocious traditional grip players out there, Todd Sucherman, Stuart Copeland had a mad traditional grip. Even though he was like this, which I still don't know or understand how he did that. But I mean, his backbeats were friggin' crazy. But it's still not a power grip. So when you really need a ton of power, it still makes more sense to go this way. So there's also it's also better for longevity. I'm saying that because there are drummers out there that have been playing traditional for a very long time, like 50 plus years, that are now dealing with a whole bunch of hand issues behind the scenes. Dave Weckl, admittedly, is dealing with a ton of stuff with his left hand. And as he put it once in one of his intensives, it just comes from 40 plus years of beating the crap out of your left hand. You're using different muscles with this grip. And you know, when you're playing a lot of powerful hits with it, it can wear after a while, man, because they weren't necessarily designed to be used that way, those muscles. Whereas this way, it's like swinging a hammer, right? It's very natural to do. When you're 2 years old and you pick up a pair of sticks for the first time, you're not going to do it like this. This is just natural, right? So for a lot of economical reasons, it's just a more powerful grip. So no, I have not abandoned the match grip at all. I make sure to keep that knife sharp as well. But I just love playing traditional. It's just fun. The other thing too is that there's a sense of accomplishment that you get with traditional grip. You got to earn this. This takes a long time, right? A long time and a lot of hours of repetitive movements to get that whole thing happening. So, and it's a constant learning process for me. It's always improving. But yeah, I don't know. I just like it. And it looks cooler in photos. Who else is here? What up, Pam? Pam wants to know if there's hoodies in the merch shop. No, it's not. This is the DRUMEO hoodie. Decided to wear it today. Those are my pals. That's my family over there. Can't wait to go back. And I will be going back at some point. But I do have a lot of very cool hoodies in the shop. So, if you're looking for one, hoodies designed specifically for drummers, I got a ton of merch. I got the coolest merch in the game. I don't know if anybody told you that. Link is in the description box. Make sure you head over there, do some shopping. Cool way to support the channel. And look cool while you're doing it. Who else is up in here, man? Speaking of merch, Lazzle, is that your name? Can we get the BPM technician design on something else other than a mug? Now that you asked, I will consider it, for sure. Yeah, if you got any suggestions or ideas, stuff that you might want to see on merch, you can always drop a suggestion, man. There's a Facebook page now for the merch shop. Rob Brown Official Apparel on Facebook. Look that up. Join the page, man. It's a community. We're getting more followers all the time. It's only been up for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, there's a Facebook page now for the merch shop. And there is a different discount code every single month. That means there's always a sale. always. But if you want to get the discount code, you got to follow the page. So just jump on Facebook, Rob Brown Official Apparel. Just look that up. Give it a like, and then whenever there's a new piece of merch dropped, you'll be the first one to know about it. You want a hoodie? That's not a bad idea. You know what? Give me some time. I might hook that up for you. BPM Technician hoodies. Making the official announcement. Maybe. Goofy Goober. How long should you practice for? I don't know. How long is a piece of string? Right? You get out of it what you put into it. That's all I'm going to tell you. How good do you want to get? That's how long you should practice. Rockin' Ross picked up that Evans tune-up kit. That's dope, right? There's a lot of cool stuff in there. Lauren's Arms. Did you actually run this whole YouTube merch drumming thing all on your own? I am a one-man operation, my friend. My wife helps me out with a couple of duties. But yeah, man, this channel, merch shop, don't have any partners yet. So yeah, I do as much as I can on my own. Maybe one day when things start to get nuts, you know, and I start needing employees, perhaps. But yeah, all my merch is done through a company called Spring. Used to be called Teespring, now they're called Spring. So they handle everything. It's a dropship company. But all the designs, man, every single design you see in the shop, me. Nothing's been farmed out. As a matter of fact, if you have the tradition, if you've seen the Traditions hoodie, where you got the hand holding the stick and Tradition on these, that's my hand. Fun fact. So, if you want a little piece of history on a piece of merch, grab that Tradition hoodie or the t-shirt, because that'll be my hand hooking you up. Edison Hill, what's up, man? From Tulsa. Giving a shout out to Flamuel. He's around somewhere. I'll make sure to say hi for you. Rob Van Pelt, thanks, my man. You are amazingly awesome as well. 15 minutes left in the game. Again, apologies for the little technical difficulty. Probably hit around 3:15, 3:20, something like that. That's why we're here till 5. But normally, we're here from 3 to 4. The issue has been fixed. So next month, when you come back, we'll be back again from 3 to 4. Mitch Locklear, that's an interesting question. Have you ever suggested to stop practicing? I have other things to do. I've heard other instructors say, instead of practicing wrong, stop for the day. Yeah, that's, you know what? There's truth to that. And I've done it. I've done it plenty of times over the last 15, 20 years or so. Sometimes I'll come down here I'll pick up the sticks, fully intending to practice or play. I'll play for like 3 minutes and I'll be like, you know what? This ain't happening today. My hands are just not cooperating. Forget it. I take that as a sign to just leave it alone. Just walk away, man. It's okay. You're not going to lose any technique or anything like that. It's just not your day. And there's nothing wrong with that. So yes, when you have those days, man, I was never one to force practice out of myself. You know what I mean? You get a lot more out of your practice when you really want to. Remember that. So if you're really not digging it, don't. You're getting that from me. That's truth, man. If you don't feel like practicing, just don't. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to skip 3 weeks of practice. Don't do that. But if you go down a particular day and you're just not feeling it, you gave it the effort and you're just not feeling it, then just don't. Just leave it till the next day, man. When you're feeling good and you know that you're going to get what you need to get out of it. The other thing I want to add to that is that taking breaks is super important. And I'm talking extended breaks. There have been quite a few occasions where I just didn't touch the drums for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I remember the first time was somewhere within my first, I think it was my 4th or 5th year of playing. Was in a different house and decided to finish the basement. We ended up finishing like 3/4 of the basement because I wanted to put a studio down there. So once we got to work, you know, of course, all my drums were down there and stuff. For like 10 weeks, I didn't have any drums to play. I had to stop playing. Long story short, after the basement was finished, kit set back up, all that kind of stuff, I sat back down on the kit and I was better than I was before I took the break. It's weird how that works, but basically what happens is your brain continues to process stuff that you learn when you stop. So you're not going to forget anything. As a matter of fact, there's a very good chance you're going to improve when you take the breaks. But healthy breaks are important, and you need to take them. So keep that in mind, man. Yeah, XX, Edis, XX. He's had some bad days and gave himself a hard time over it. Don't, man. If you have a bad day, just chalk it up as a bad day and leave it alone. Just move on, do something else. Nothing wrong with that. Eventually you will get back to it and you'll just pick up right where you left off. It just wasn't your day that day, no big deal. Another thing you can do is pick up a different instrument. That's cool, because I'm also learning bass. So a lot of times when I'm not on this, in the evenings, I'll go upstairs in my office. I got an amp. I got a nice 5-string bass in there. And I'm just messing around with that for a little bit. Richard Jones, Mad How the Brain Works. It sure is, man. It sure is. But you can look that up. That's an actual fact. Your brain will continue to process the information when you're not doing the thing, right? So that's why it's not necessary to, you know, if you're trying to do something, it's not really that necessary to set out to put 6 hours into it at a time. Bits and pieces, man. Your brain is going to continue to process it. So keep that in mind. Where are we at? 10 minutes left. Man, thanks everyone for coming out. I always look forward to these hangs. It's a good hour to just sit, talk drums, all that stuff. Danny Mason, shout out to UK. I've decided to move to open-handed drumming. Any views on this? Yeah, do it. Do it. We talked about open-handed drumming earlier. You shouldn't, it's not just something to do to adapt because you're a lefty. Even for right-handed drummers, there are benefits to playing open-handed. There are combinations that you'll be able to play that you wouldn't necessarily think of doing this way, right? So, yeah, you know, if you want to spend a couple of months just sort of getting used to the idea of playing the hats with the left hand, give it a shot, man. There was a short period of time where I decided to put the ride on my left side, so it was sitting above my hi-hat, just because. Why not, right? Just decided to give it a shot. I think I actually had two rides at the time. I had one here and I had one here. And, you know, the benefits to doing that is, I mean, it's a really good way to get your left hand in the same shape as your right hand. If you can play the same ride patterns, if you can do the same sort of swing, spangalang kind of thing with the left hand, there's a lot of benefits to doing that too. There's no rules, man. Whatever you want to do, just do it. There's always going to be some kind of benefit to do it. Yeah, man, listen. We're going to start to land this plane because we've been here for an hour and a bit. And I got to get dinner started. So I want to thank everyone for coming out as I scroll through these last few comments. Hopefully you've been sitting on your pad this whole time because that was a good hour, right? It's a lot of hand development that you can do in 1 hour. Man, my hands feel good today. Anyways, yeah, listen. It's always a cool time hanging with y'all, seeing where you're from. There's people from all over the planet that tune into these live streams. And it's always a trip. Seeing where you're from and, you know, knowing that there's people from all over the world watching this channel. It's very cool. We're almost at 250,000 subscribers. Nice little accomplishment for me. And it's all because of y'all. So thanks for watching and sharing the videos and telling people we here. One of my goals this year, I don't know if I told y'all before, or if you caught it, but the next modern drummer poll that comes out, if you want to throw my name in the hat, very much appreciated. Adam's Drum Room, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, a little bit of a difficulty there, technical issues, but we came back. But thanks for dropping back in with that super chat. Appreciate it, man. Next month, things will be on track for sure. Five more minutes if you got something to say before I get on up out of here. Mitch Locklear, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for the support. Nikki Solar, greets from Germany. Shout out from Canada. Kieran Smith wants to know what's for dinner. We're making jerk chicken wraps tonight. So, yeah, I got to get started on that pretty soon. If you didn't know that I was a pretty mad chef, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Find me right there, because you'll see some food pics that you've never seen before. Well, I mean, you have, but you just didn't know I could do all that stuff. Yes, sir. So, yeah, man. I want everyone out there to enjoy their weekend. I don't know what you got planned. One thing I can say is thank God for drums. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. And, you know, a lot of stuff that can be sort of hard to digest, hard to deal with, hard to look at. A lot of times I'll stay away from my Facebook feed because I don't need all this bad news. But yeah, I mean, if you're the praying type, you know, start praying. Pray for the Ukraine. I mean, I don't want to get serious on y'all, but, you know, I'm just thankful for this instrument because this is therapeutic for me as well. It's not just the greatest instrument in the world. It's also very therapeutic. Sometimes I'll come down here, throw my headphones in, play along to some tunes, or just practice and just forget everything that's going on outside. So if that's what you're going to do this weekend, shout out to y'all. Follow me on Instagram. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. Grab yourself a piece of merch from the merch shop. Keep practicing. Come back next week. There's going to be a new video. There's going to be a new cover coming soon as well. It's going to be all kinds of stuff. Year's just getting started on this channel, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to continue to be a good one because y'all keep coming back. So keep doing that, man. We'll be back here. Last Friday of every month is when we try to do this. So we will see you here for another live one. Last Friday in March, whatever date that's going to be. And I'm going to sign off because I got to go prepare this chicken and get stuff happening. So thanks for watching. Be kind to one another, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to sign off. That was corny.